Hello, guys, welcome to Speaking Life. I'm going to be in the book of 1 Samuel 16, verse 23. 1 Samuel 16, verse 23. So it came about whenever the evil spirit from God came to Saul, David will take the harp and play it with his hand, and Saul will be refreshed and be well, and the evil spirit will depart from him again. So it came about whenever the evil spirit from God came to Saul, David will take the harp and play it with his hand, and Saul will be refreshed and be well, and the evil spirit will depart from him. So in this verse right here, it is talking about the story of Saul and David. Mind you, Saul got chose by the Lord to help the Israelite, right? But then later on, when Saul has disobeyed the Lord, he got removed from the position, and now David is going to be the one who is going to get that position. David is going to be the next king. But in this verse here, what happened is that when all this happened, before the Lord made David to become king, one thing that happened is that the Lord has brought David to go and serve Saul. Mind you, Saul was the king. David is the king to become. And this also remind us about, when Jesus said that he came not to be served by others, but to serve. And that's why every single thing the Lord Jesus Christ said is the truth, because everything that comes from him is pure truth. He said it, and that's exactly an example right in front of us here, that God had made sure that he brought David, who is going to be the next king, to serve the old king. But mind you, Saul in that moment didn't know that at all. Now, when the Lord has removed the position from Saul to give to David, here are the things that Saul didn't have that David had, right? It say that Saul was a handsome man, but also it say that David was extremely handsome, right? I'm gonna read to you the quality that David have, but not just that. One thing about what the Lord does is everything he do is perfect, right? He removed that position from Saul, but he made sure to give that position as king to someone who is well skilled, because David was extremely well skilled in a lot. He was not just a shepherd, he was a very handsome guy. And I'm going to read it to you here. It say that David had a beautiful eyes. He was handsome. He was a shepherd because he was shepherding the sheep of his father, right? That's why when Samuel came into the father of David, David was not home. He was taking care of his father's sheep. But it didn't stop him to still be chosen as the next king to become. So he was a shepherd. He was also a musician. Like, he was good with music. He was a very good musician. What? Why can I say that right? But he was good with music, extremely good with music. He was playing harp also. He was a man of valor. He was a man of valor. He was a warrior. He was a prudent in speech, and the Lord is with him, right? So those are all of the things that David had, right? So of course there were one part that I'm also gonna read to you, and here it said that the Lord sent the future king to serve the old king, to later on make him king over the Israelites, right? The Lord sent the future king David to serve the old king Saul, to later on make him king over the Israelites. Again, the Lord sent the future king David to serve. To serve. Again, to serve. Jesus has said that he came not to be served, but to serve others, right? The Lord sent the future king to serve the old king, to later on make him king over the Israelites. And this just make me just realize a lot of things that is just extremely beautiful in so many ways. Like, you never know who you have in front of you. You never know who you're talking to. You never know who you're messing with. You will never know. Only God, only Jesus Christ know who you're talking to, who you're messing with, who you're fooling around with, who you're wasting time with. He is the only one who know that person. Why? Because he know us since we were in the womb. He knew us since in the womb. He was with us since in the womb till now and forevermore. What a beauty to have Christ, to have Jesus Christ, who has promised us that he will never leave us nor forsake us. Who you know will never leave you and will never forsake you. There's nobody else but Jesus Christ, right? And that's why you never know who you are playing with. Because here, let's say Saul was the old king. Now he's has assigned David to work for him. But the thing that he didn't know in that moment was that David was gonna be the next king. He was gonna be the next king, right? That's also why the Lord always tell us to love each other, right? And to treat all of us the same ways that he treat us. Because let's say for example, let's say for example, um David, let's say in that moment he knew about, not David. Let's say if Saul in that moment knew who David was, what do you think Saul would have done if he knew that David is going to become the next king? What would have he done in that specific moment? He could have done a lot of things that we might not know in that moment, right? And so, again, I'm going to read this to you. The Lord sent the future king to serve the old king, to later on make him king over the Israelites. You don't know if you are talking to a future queen or a future king, right? You don't know that. Only God knows that. That's why we should all treat people equally, right? That's why we should all treat people equally. Not because you're thinking about what that person will become, but just do it because that's what the Lord has told us to do, to love each other, to treat each other the right way, right? And so, yeah, you guys take care. Bye.